So this is technically the first episode of the Creative Rant.
Yes.
Technically the first release to the public. We've had many tests leading up to this point.
Yeah.
But this is the first actual one that that we're going to try and publish.
Yes.
So, yeah. So the Creative Rant, real quick, is it's a podcast, video, vlog, whatever you want to call it, ranting about things that creatives really don't talk about, but at least online. Tons of tutorials out there of things, but nothing out there of everything. If you want to learn how to be a photographer, there's tutorials out there. Everything, down to strobes, how to pose people. But there's nothing really out there where people bring creatives on and they rant about what's going on in their industry, whether it's photography, video, graphic design, music. We want all creativity and we want to rant about it in a good way.
Or if they, I don't know, something. Or if they do, it's like, it's all filtered.
Yeah.
Through their fake personalities.
It's pretty dialed back because they're afraid to lose clients or whatever,
or whatever,
public perception or whatever. But I'm a big believer in being able to shape the industry as well, and I think a lot of it has to do with conditioning with clients. So, and I think if you just picked up some pointers on how to deal with clients that are maybe trouble or giving you a hard time or you're not making as much money off of them, there's ways that you can talk about that. And a lot of photographers or creatives don't talk about that.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I also want it to be about things that have nothing to do with our industry directly.
Yeah.
Like, whatever I want to talk about and whatever you want to talk about. I don't really care what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
we're gonna rant about creativity.
Yeah, I'm gonna rant about rants.
We're gonna creatively rant.
I think that one of the reasons that people do things for like 2 or 3 months and then fade out with it is because it's like, I'm gonna do a creative rant. Let's say they said this.
Yeah.
And then it would have to be all their subjects. They think it has to be about photography.
Yeah.
And then they start getting tired of talking about photography. So they start putting it off. And then, or they do it for 3 months and there's nothing left to really talk about.
Yeah.
And like worth setting up an entire podcast for. And so then it just gets put off and then they just end up not doing it. So I just, it's hard to shut me up. I might as well just be talking nonsense and recording it for all the world to see, like a gift.
Yeah,
so.
and I think with to that point too, I think a lot of the industries have a little bit of crossover, and I think creatively, if we're talking about movies or we're talking about music or we're talking about anything, it all kind of relates to what we do anyway.
Yeah,
so I think if I do a lot of things, not just photography, but graphic design and video, and your skills kind of cover a range of stuff as well. It's not just like one thing.
Yeah.
So I think
Netflix. My knowledge covers Netflix,
Hulu,
Xbox. HBO Go.
Yeah.
I have extensive knowledge in these areas.
Yeah. You also have like the business, the business back, the background of the business. And,
I know that.
But it's I don't know. It's just a different way. Oh no. Yeah, I do that as well.
Dude, so I was watching Netflix and I got bored with what I was watching and I was like, I'm tired of watching Netflix. I'm going to do something else. And so I switched to the Hulu app and started watching things on Hulu and I was like, oh, there. Like,
yeah,
it's the same activity. I just switched apps. Like it was an entirely new thing. Like, I'm tired of watching Netflix. I'm going to go do something else.
Hulu.
More TV.
I do that too. I'll be like, I don't want to watch Netflix. Let me see what's on HBO Go. Let me see what's over there.
Yeah.
That's funny. So today, I think we were going to talk about the mirrorless cameras and the mystical, amazing, game-changing mirrorless cameras that we hear so much about, and how companies that have been around for quite a while are all pivoting onto the mirrorless, and they're going to be judged based on their innovation in the mirrorless industry.
As people can tell,
Yeah,
we like them.
we we love the mirrorless,
So like,
which isn't true because we just don't understand it.
okay, yeah. So with mirrorless, I just don't. It's not that I don't like them. It's that I don't understand the mania surrounding them.
I don't get the hype.
I'm a mirrorless shooter. I shoot. Oh, you shooting that? I only shoot mirrorless.
Yeah.
Mirrorless all the way. I switch my whole gear kit, my whole gear
Yeah.
setup. I mean, I would never go back. I don't understand that because for what? So you lose a little bit of camera size.
A little bit.
A little. Like a half inch off the width
Yeah.
and like, a half inch off the length. I don't.
Yeah.
So and then they come with these tiny batteries that last what, an hour and a half if you're taking photos tops. And if you're doing video, they last like half hour,
20 minutes.
Yeah, let's give them half an hour.
Yeah,
because there's going to be some doucher on there.
I
filmed for 31 minutes the other day. 31. You're liars.
Unfriend, unfollow.
Yeah.
You guys are
I'll
idiots.
tell you what, I don't like these men.
Yeah.
Like,
let me guess. You're working with the dinosaur DSLR. Is that what D stands for? Dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's what the D stands for in DSLR. You're dinosaurs. That's what they're gonna do, man. We're gonna get so much hate mail for this. It's gonna be ridiculous.
I don't even care.
But that's the thing is like, okay, so you cut down some of the size.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everyone's saying. Oh,
Okay.
my kit's so much smaller. Look at it. It's tiny now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add all these batteries.
Yeah.
Hundreds of dollars in batteries.
Yeah. That make up for the size. They just take up the size that you lost on the camera.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It is tech that has, like, it's very close to being cool.
Yeah.
If they can just get the battery life under control, but they're not even close.
No.
They're not even close with it. And here's the thing that really bugs me is that there isn't, even with all the new mirrorless cameras announced, there isn't a camera that said the body of the camera is going to be smaller, because it can be, but we're putting a regular size battery in it. So maybe on one side it's got a little bump.
Well, it wouldn't matter if they added a bigger battery.
Well, at least you could get
a little bit.
At least you could get 3 hours instead of an hour and a half.
Maybe the downfall really isn't the battery size as much as it is the fact that the viewfinder, the only way to see what you're shooting, is on constantly.
Yeah.
So you basically have a TV on the entire time. And if you're in Florida, which requires your viewfinder to be full blast bright, in order to see anything outside, then you're compromising battery time as well.
But the only thing that combats that is either figuring out the tech to make that little monitor not need so much juice, which they're obviously not at yet, and then or you put a bigger battery on it.
Yeah.
So until they figure out the tech end to make the little monitor not need so much power, you have to put a bigger battery in. Half hour max HD record time isn't acceptable. It's not. That's garbage. I mean,
well, and my thing with it too is like there's a lot of usability things that I understand is just me needing to get over if I were to switch to a mirrorless camera, right? I have the A7R2. I've shot with it.
Yeah, we've used it.
This isn't just a cold, bashing on mirrorless cameras rant. But here's so I've shot with it, right? And I understand that there's things in there that I need to get used to. I don't like the review photo on the inside of the viewfinder, which you can turn off. I get all that stuff. So I haven't really given it a fair chance as far as like
the bonus features.
The bonus features are tweaking it, and I get that there's benefits to it. What I don't understand is the quick like hype to jump ship from one to the other. Like
well, now it's like ride or die.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like Nikon, they released their new mirrorless camera. Apparently, it's a flub. I don't know. It doesn't have dual SD cards, and they're freaking out about it, right?
I'll
That's it.
never buy a camera
I will never.
that doesn't have dual SDs. This isn't
Yeah.
for professionals.
Yeah.
Dude, honest to God, I had no idea that cameras even had dual SD card slots. Like, I didn't even know that. I've never heard anyone be like, I'm so glad that I had another slot. Without it, I couldn't be a professional.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody talk about it. I've never had anybody say, hey, do you have another SD card? I only brought one.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone talk about dual SD cards ever. And I don't know, maybe just by chance, I've only ever looked at cameras that have one SD card slot. Because we use the D810, it has one. Does the Fuji have?
I don't know.
It has one.
I know that the D810 has dual card slots, but one's a compact flash and the other one's an SD.
Even that though, I didn't know you could run those at like the same time.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a preference.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was a nice thing that Nikon did. Like, hey, Canon people, if you come on over here, we've got this other card slot, so you don't have to buy new cards. That's what I thought that was for. I didn't know it was some odd backup thing where I didn't know. I mean, I guess I just never looked into it.
No, I get the use of that. At least it has a practical use. But here's the thing.
I'll never buy a camera with one slot. I don't think it's worth that.
Deal breaker. That's it.
The short, like one sentence.
Yeah.
No dual SD, deal breaker.
Nope. Sad. It's and the thing is too, it's like, oh, that's it. Now I'm jumping ship to Sony. It's like, go ahead, go do it. Do what you got to do. But I just don't get the Nikon's been around for years. I don't know the exact date. It's been around for a while, longer than I've been alive, at least. They've been making cameras. Yeah, right. So they'll get it right. They'll get it right when the technology and the time is right. They will get it.
Well, I don't even think they've gotten it wrong.
Neither. Yeah.
I think that people are just way out of control with it.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable. Like I don't get like why.
Yeah.
The Nikon one is the best mirrorless I've seen, like in that range.
Well,
it's better than that garbage Canon one that came out.
Yes, but here's my thing too. Is like, what did Sony have before that?
They didn't have anything.
They didn't have anything. They had handycams, which they've killed for years. Handycams have killed.
And
we're filming this with handycams right now, and they're amazing. But here's the thing: is they didn't have a digital SLR that was worth anything. It wasn't worth a damn, right? So so they don't have to maintain research and development on a successful line. You have Nikon out there and you have Canon out there that are putting out what professionals use. I mean, they use it.
Canon, that's arguable.
But they did. I mean, they hit the ground running with the digital SLR. I mean,
I thought you meant with mirrorless.
No. I'm talking about the digital SLRs. They have an entire line of digital SLRs that they've been successfully peddling, as well as Nikon, and they've been doing that. And then on the side, they're like, okay, let's take a look at this mirrorless situation and start innovating in that. It's going to take them some time to do that, but to sit there and Sony didn't have the downfall of a successful product line that they have to maintain and not neglect as well. People in the Nikon world aren't going to be happy if all of a sudden Nikon's not innovating in their digital SLR. As much as these fanatics think that the entire industry's calling for mirrorless, they're not.
That's what they want.
I don't have anyone sitting there like, I would shoot this if only I had a mirrorless. I can't wait till the days of the mirrorless. It's just not happening.
There isn't any. It's not even that. There is no. What's going to happen? That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
This is to me, this is a tech jump. People are treating it like this tech jump that takes you to like the same place. Yeah. That's what's crazy to me.
Well, they're acting like it's the Nokia. They're going from the Nokia candy bar phone to the iPhone.
Yeah.
That's what they're acting like.
But I just don't
and it's
get
not.
why.
It's going from an iPhone 8 to an iPhone 8s.
Exactly.
With the bad battery.
Whole new tech.
Yeah.
Like an entirely like different thing to get like a different version of the same thing.
Yeah.
Which, okay. But when we've talked about this before, I told you that like I couldn't think of like a single thing that mirrorless does better besides, I guess, being smaller with
and
one
quieter,
battery and quieter. Which I like the shutter sound.
I do too. I like the feel of
that.
it.
But
with those, you can have a fake shutter sound.
Yesterday, or the day, yeah. What? There's fake shutter noises on.
Yeah, there's like a little speaker that puts out a.
That's so dumb. We need all new tech.
Yeah.
To replicate this, that it already does exactly what this does. Anyway, so 2 days ago when you were shooting, I realized that there is a benefit to the mirrorless camera, and that is when you were shooting in bright sun.
Yeah.
You were having to do like the look in your shirt at the screen thing.
Well, and I could turn my monitor up. I just didn't feel like
but I mean, but
yeah,
having the ability, I don't even know if it does this on mirrorless cameras. Can you hit like the play button and then it comes up inside of it and you can like review them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I think I've never done that. I know that you can do the thing where you take the photo and jarringly it stays there.
Keeps it in the monitor.
I would imagine, unless these cameras are just totally stupid, that you could go back through and preview it in.
Should be able to.
The monitor.
The downfall of that though is that the monitor on the inside of that isn't very high resolution.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
And you're zooming in on. I mean, it's basically a little monitor with a magnifying glass in front of it, so it is. To me, it's a little bit lower resolution, and it maybe it's not. It's just magnified with the glass in front of it, so you're seeing more of the pixels.
You can tell if things are in focus. Though,
you can tell if they're in focus. I mean, they're good enough quality for that. They're just not. To me, they're just a lower quality. It's not like a super high definition, and you're looking at a screen. You're looking at a magnifying screen.
Well, that's something. I mean, that is a benefit to it that I didn't think of before.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to deal with like turning your brightness up or looking in a shirt or finding shade or doing whatever. That is one, and I haven't used that. Like I said, I imagine that you could use it with that, and you could just drain your battery faster by having to preview images.
Yeah, it's
I give you even less time.
I'm excited about new tech. I don't want to make it sound like we're a bunch of like old men. Like
we like the DSLR.
Well, you see,
that's all we do. Yeah.
You see, back in my day, we had the digital SLRs, and they were massive.
Yeah, I'm not even fighting it. I don't get it, and I think that that new Fuji one looks awesome. That
the medium format.
Medium format. It's
that looks pretty good.
But and I like, and I'm also. It sounds like we're like hyping up Nikon. I know that you don't agree with this, but I like the feel of that Fuji one better. I like that metal box feel. It just like has that. It has like an industrial feel.
Yeah,
I like that, and I even like the shutter, or not the shutter sound, but I like the button click.
The feel.
It's like that metal. Like I like that better than the Nikon. Like, and maybe that's just because to me all the DSLRs that have been made in the last 10 years have felt exactly the same to me.
Well, and another thing we should talk about too is the fact that like don't be a fanboy. Like don't be a fanboy.
Yeah.
Like what happens is you wind up defending things that need to be fixed on these cameras. And I have the A7R too. And there are issues that I have with that camera. One of them, which sounds very petty, is that every time I turn that camera on, it tells me that it's running an NTSC. Well, I hope so, because I bought it in North America.
Thanks, Sony.
It came defaulted as a PAL setting, which is crazy. because I bought it in North America from B&H. Now, every time I turn it on, every time it goes to the screensaver, running an NTSC. So you say that to people, oh, well, yeah, no, but Nikon, they do the what about us. And then another thing, too, is the rolling shutter. It has a really bad rolling shutter issue when it comes to LED lighting. Now, you can correct that by correct it slightly by going in and turning off some rear shutter setting. But the usability of a Sony, of that A7, it's a way bigger learning curve than I ever had with a Nikon or a Canon even. I could pick up a Canon tomorrow and know my way around it. Yeah,
Within 5 minutes.
I'll fumble a little bit where the play buttons are.
Yeah.
Nikon did something when I went from a D610 to a D810. They swapped where the play button was and the erase button.
Yeah.
So the erase button or the trash can button was where the play button was. So for months I was grabbing it and I was hitting play and I was hitting the delete, but you have to hit it twice, so it wasn't deleting anything. But that's a usability issue.
Yeah.
And I had a problem with that, but eventually I trained myself to get over that. And I just don't feel like the benefits of the Sony, of the A7, are worth me retraining myself on client projects, or even just retraining myself in general to go through and learn those things.
It's not any different.
It's not.
I don't get it. Like, it's not like, okay, if they were like, Sony's came out with a new mirrorless camera and it does 90 megapixels
Yeah.
for $2,000. I'd be like, what?
We're looking into that.
And they've been able to do it because they have removed the mirror.
Yeah.
Like, then I'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
There's a purpose to that. But I feel like they created this new tech to match what we already have.
Yeah.
So at least at this point, and it's actually, I'm a big battery life dude.
Well, and I think a lot of long exposure photographers, like sky stuff, they say that it is sharper because it doesn't have that clicking open of the mirror that it shakes the camera. I get all that stuff, but to me it just doesn't outweigh, especially for what I'm using it for. Right now it just doesn't. And I'm not judging companies based on it. I'm not sitting there like, that's it. If Nikon doesn't make a move in 6 months, I'm out of here. I'm jumping ship. I need my mirrorless.
No dual SD, huh?
No, yeah. Again, it's not, at that point, it's like, why? And honestly, like, if I'm going to make a jump from one camera to another right now, we're going to medium format.
Yeah.
We're not going to mirrorless. If it's mirrorless medium format and it's worth it, we'll do that. But I'm not jumping ship with all the all the Nikon lenses that we have. It's just not happening. I mean, and then there's all this, like, and not that there's any gear shaming going on out there, but I kind of feel like there is. And that's the way photographers are. You show up on a shoot and they're like, oh, you're shooting with that. Like,
yeah,
how they get,
yeah,
that's gear shaming, guys, and it's not good.
And then they go,
this is 2018.
It's so funny because then they always do the same thing. So what are you shooting with? Nikon D810. Oh, huh. I've got a Hasselblad D876, man, I got a real good picture of a duck the other day, and then they spend the next 20 minutes telling you about their nature photos.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Every time I talk to a stranger comes up and talks to me, they have a camera that costs 5 to 10 times the amount that ours does, and they like take pictures of like grass with it.
Yeah. I can get medium format grass blades with this.
And I'm talking about the regular people who don't even do it as a job. And dude, 99% of the time, I have to pretend that I know what camera they're even talking about. They They give like that douchey, huh?
Yeah.
Like the camera we're using isn't good enough.
Yeah.
And then they go, yeah, and then they like prepare to drop their bomb on you.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a Maxwell, like a Maxwell Sarah D90,000, So
I started way back.
You might say I take my hobby seriously.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's a cool camera. I've
never
heard of it.
I love it when they come up to you and they try to they try to act friendly. And by they, I mean photographers.
Yeah.
I think photographers are the weirdest people.
Well, not
and
even just
I'm
like,
kind of
well,
one of them, but
also you're talking about like all people with a camera,
Yeah.
not just like professionals.
no, and we're not
It's
bashing
never
professionals
that
but-
are like, I've got the James Mascow
Yeah.
D9328.
Well, it's not just that. Even if they walk up to you with the same equipment, then they go into the settings. Then they try to setting shame you.
Yeah.
Like, what are you shooting on? And I always mess with them. Auto.
What's your color?
Is it? What does the S mean?
What's your
What does the P mean? Pro.
What's your color profile?
Yeah. What's your
I jailbroke this one. I've got the Christopher Nolan.
What's your white balance on?
I've got the Christopher Nolan color profile going on. Hey.
Most would think you would go with like a 70 or 6500 in here. I'd probably go a cool 55. A cool 55, you know.
I go manual on my white balance.
And they do that, and they walk up to you, and I've had this happen where they walk up to you and they're like, "Hey, what aperture are you on?" As if that really matters.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
I adjust it as I'm like taking a photo.
I do know, and sometimes I play along, and I'm not trying to be like,
don't know all
I'm
the
not trying to
time.
be an asshole when they come up to me and say that, but you could tell the people that are just trying to prove a point. You know, they got the giant lens. They're the guys that show up with the giant lens just to like, I got to bring that baby to like show off. We wish people would just show off and create.
We've made an
And, like-
entire career out of having a 28, a 35, and an 85.
A what? A 20? Yeah, 28. Yeah,
35 and an 85.
and a 50.
And a 50.
And a 50, yeah. Yeah, we shoot primarily primes. Yeah, that's it.
Prime primes.
Primes. We're prime
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. So the lens thing is another thing that's like, oh god.
Yeah.
It's like the bigger the lens, like the bigger the douche to me. The ones that have to have it
I
on
know.
like its own lanyard.
Well, but
Why?
that's only if it's needed. Those
I've
are
never
needed.
been anywhere where it's needed.
But they are
I've
needed.
never shot
they are
NASCAR,
needed.
and I've
Oh,
never
you
shot
haven't.
nature.
Yeah. I get
Like-
what you're saying.
Like things that I'm not like a peeper.
Yeah.
Where I need to like be 3 football fields away.
So just to clarify, before you like hack into Caleb's Facebook and like bash him online or something, like what he's saying is he's never been in a situation where anyone should have showed up with those lenses.
Yeah.
So like
They have their uses.
but
Just
like
not
he's
where
never,
I am.
yeah, not where you are. Like you've never been on the sidelines of a football game
Yeah.
that requires
Yeah.
your lens to have a tripod.
All the football stuff I've shot's like is for ads, so it's
Well-
not live.
And it's portrait stuff.
But I've even
Like-
shot. I mean, dude, I have shot hundreds of live events, and I've never needed them. That's where I see them the most.
Yeah.
These massive, like $3,000 lenses to film like a
3,000
luncheon,
cheap,
a
yeah.
business luncheon.
Yeah.
How else am I going to get the keynote speaker?
Yeah.
I don't know. You go halfway up
closer.
the aisle.
Yeah.
I just, I'm sure, okay, fine. There are purposes to them, but most of the time when I'm at a place that doesn't require one and there's another photographer there that has one, it's just going to be obnoxious.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. I feel like we're like bashing photographers.
I
right
like
now.
bashing photographers.
I
I
do
like
too.
being a photographer. It's like I'm allowed to.
That's
I'm allowed to
true.
bash photographers. Why can't we bash ourselves?
No, we can.
I don't get like,
I'm not saying we should.
you know what? We could do an entire
I'll never
podcast.
say that.
We can do an entire podcast on natural light photographers, which has caused us a lot of grief.
Oh yeah.
So there's a few things that we've written blog posts about before in the past that have gotten us pretty
Yeah.
big, pretty good shade. People were pretty upset about it. So we're going to bring those subjects up again because I think the natural light photography thing, although it's a sore subject amongst a lot of photographers, I do believe that
Because they make it a sore subject, they have no defense. That's why it's sore.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why their butts are sore.
and I'll say it to your face in cursive. Natural light photographers are part-time photographers. I said it on the podcast. I said it.
Bam, live.
live.
just heard you
They
say
just
that.
heard me say it on there. And let me clarify: if
No, well,
you
I mean,
are an
we can-
only natural light photographer, you are a part-time photographer. Sun's only out for 12 hours a day, tops. That's it. That's it. I mean, come on.
Can't get mad at facts.
Can't get mad at facts. But I mean, but that's the thing is like I think if anything, by us saying that, it's going to inspire photographers to go out and try to learn artificial lighting. And when they don't like artificial lighting or they don't like something, it's because they don't know it. It's
I
not that
know.
I don't. It's not that we don't like mirrorless cameras, because we don't know it. We just don't understand why the need to have it come out so fast, and why everyone's seems to be hindering on waiting to get this tech before they can produce anything.
Well, and and the other thing too is that I should, since this is like the first, video that we're putting up, I am not a photographer.
I think that's important to point out.
I'm video.
Yeah.
I do way more video. Now, that being said, I can pick up a camera and take some mean photos. Like, don't underestimate that. But
His subjects just make angry faces.
yeah,
That's what he means by mean photos.
I know I make angry faces.
He
'cause I
makes them
take 'em.
behind, yeah.
No,
behind the camera.
so like the other thing that annoys me about natural light photographers is that I think that saying I'm a natural light photographer is totally stupid, and I don't want to learn studio lighting either for photography.
Yeah.
Like, I get what they feel.
Yeah.
What is this? I think of that and I think math. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Math. I'm gonna take some real garbage photos today. Like, I know that for me to learn studio lighting, to be where I should be as a actual photographer, it would take me a ton of practice and a ton of garbage photos. Not like I wouldn't charge for them,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that I would have to, set up little shoots. Hey, let's go to the Lake Eola.
Yeah.
Like, and all
Well,
these
and let's
stupid
and let's
things.
clarify something real quick. I'm talking about professionals here. I'm not talking about hobbyists.
Oh yeah.
I'm not talking about people who just pick up a camera and they go out and do what you do.
We're not saying you have to buy a $400 to a $3,000.
No, and I'm not saying that you need to incorporate strobes and artificial lighting into your photography. If your style, see, there's a difference. There's a difference between understanding something and choosing not to use it.
Yes.
And then there's the I'm afraid of it, so I'm not going to use it. And I feel like a lot of photographers say I'm a natural light photographer because they're afraid of strobes and artificial lighting. Now, if you know that stuff and you take the artistic choice not to use it, that's different. But you wouldn't label yourself a natural light photographer. You know what you would call yourself? A photographer. You would just say, I'm a photographer. And you would be able to show up in any situation and be prepared. You would be able to show up and say, okay, there's an overcast today, and I need to know how to fix this. Now, an example happened the other day. We were on location. We set up, it's the first time we've worked with this client. We set up the lights. We show up a half hour early. We pre-light. I do my typical test shot on Caleb, and it's perfect. Everything's great. The talent comes in, stands in front of the camera, 2 shots go off, and the entire sun goes behind the cloud.
A big one.
A big cloud. Like the rest of the shoot is behind a cloud.
Yeah.
Now everything I showed up and preset for is out the window. Now on my feet, I have to figure out how I'm going to adjust my lighting based on the new lighting situation that's set up for me. And you have to do, and it's terrifying. And even in the moment, it's like, oh God, you get those cold sweats. And I'm used to using these lights, and I still go, oh God, there's going to be a lot of trial and error right here, because as of right now, we don't shoot with any kind of light metering. We do it all in camera, and it takes a second, but the key to that is, here's the secret to knowing how to using strobe lights or artificial lights. It's having a good poker face. It's knowing that you can look calm in front of your clients. The moment that you start freaking out, your clients are going to start freaking out. And then, you start to worry.
Well,
But you got to practice with this stuff. And again, if you're calling yourself a natural light photographer, odds are you haven't tried strobes, or you haven't taken the time to actually learn them and then made the artistic choice not to use them.
I mean, yeah, and my thing is too is it's like you said, it's like nerve-wracking. It was at first, and now I just legitimately do not care.
Well, you don't think about it.
Well, I mean, I do, I guess,
but
I don't care. Like when we were at the shoot, and the clouds came in and like wiped out our setup, I did not care.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't once. I wasn't like, oh man, hey, are you almost done?
Yeah.
Are you almost done? You know, adjusting. I don't care. It's like you can wait.
Yeah.
There's weather.
Yeah.
You can wait as long as it's going to take us, and it doesn't take us long.
No.
And nobody says anything. It's like nobody's ever said anything except for maybe in the very, very beginning shoots I used to do.
Yeah.
Like a decade more ago.
Well, and I think
They
that's
were
because
like,
it
no,
shows.
this is taking a while. And
Yeah.
usually when they started saying something, it's because I had a serious problem.
Yeah.
Like no SD card detected when one's in there. Like something
yeah.
major that I'm trying to like work through.
Yeah.
But as far as a lighting setup, we've taken 20 minutes to do a simple light, you know, shift that just for some reason we have to take a little extra time, you know, to make it look right. They don't say anything. They don't even care. It's all on the photographer.
Yep.
Taking too long. Taking too long. Okay. Calm down.
Yeah.
Like
I don't. To me, it's not so much
I
the client.
don't care.
To me, it's not so much the clients. Typically, the clients on that level, they understand. They know. They've been on a couple shoots.
I think 90% of them, it doesn't even register to them that they need to think to care or not.
Yeah.
We don't take that much time. Even if we took twice as much time as we do now,
Yeah.
people know this can take a long time to light something, especially with studio lights.
Yeah. Well, but it also comes. I mean, creatives they're insecure.
I know.
They have that like timid like, and I don't
I'm
care
just
how
over it. I used to,
Yeah.
I guess, like in the very beginning. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it's like how you were like before we started. You were saying something about like, I don't know. Man, the time of the morning, the sun's gonna be like on her. I'm worried about the sun. I don't even care. I know that when we get there, we're just gonna set the lights to make it look good. If you know, in 20 minutes, we'll get rolling.
I think that's
It's
a control
never
thing.
been
though.
any different than that.
Yeah.
There's never been like the sun is bearing down. Oh no.
Yeah.
There's never been an oh no moment with lighting when we've brought lights with us.
No, and just a progression of my work. I'm trying to mix more natural with strobes.
Mm-hmm.
So especially if we're out on location, I'm trying to mix those things to where it's like enhancing it and not really overpowering it. So,
Yes.
you know, I just it's all, to me, it's about the experience as well. So I get that photographers, they want to, if you're a natural light photographer and you understand strobes, you're awesome. That's awesome.
It's even better if they know them.
Yeah, and
then they
choose
just
not
don't
to.
use 'em.
I don't like them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And I think that
Really?
yeah.
Like, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's like, and that's the thing is when
You're a
we
true
say this,
patriot.
when we say that photographers who call themselves natural light photographers aren't like our part-time photographers,
Mm-hmm.
that what I'm saying is that in my experience, the people who have said that have never really touched a strobe. But I've worked with photographers, high-end commercial photographers, that show up with a ton of lights. They're there just in case they need them, and they don't even use them because they're shooting their style and they realize that they don't need it at that time because the sun's out. But the moment that the sun goes out, they're going to try to mimic that. And
Yeah.
they should know how, and they do.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying is learn your craft, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't sit there, don't call yourself a natural light photographer. Call yourself a photographer. Don't call yourself a strobist. Call yourself a photographer. I'm not a strobist. I prefer shooting with strobes. I'm not very good at shooting with natural light, but I understand it, and I understand that. And there's been situations where I can't bring a strobe in. Strobist.
I hate strobist.
I know it's a weird word.
It's not weird. It should just not exist. It's not. Is it a? It's not even a word.
I think it's a made up
It's
word.
gross.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm a strobist.
I'm a strobist.
That's so unnatural,
Yeah.
and I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's not because it's new. It's a gross word, and it shouldn't be used. I think
Yeah.
I've only ever heard one person seriously say that. I'm a strobist.
I'm a strobist.
Are
There's
you?
a strobist group on Facebook.
And I was like,
But now they mainly call it like off-camera flash. Which, I mean, if you're going to use a flash, that's where it
I
should
say,
be.
do you use lights?
Yeah. Do you use lights?
Yeah, do you use lights?
Yeah.
Lights? And they go lights, and I go studio lights, and
Yeah.
that's what I say.
So
To
the
me,
only
even that's better
the
than,
only
"Are you a
natural light.
strobist?"
Another thing too is when these photographers are like, "I'm a natural light photographer. Here's my photo. I did this with a bounce." It's like that's not natural light.
Yeah, but I guess the natural. Yeah, and I know
That's
what you're
not
saying.
natural.
I know it's not, but the source is natural.
There's only one natural source. Two natural sources, maybe three. There's the sun. There's fire, and then like
The moon.
photoluminescence.
The moon.
The moon is the sun. It's a bounce. The moon is the biggest bounce out there.
That's what I meant.
So the moonlight isn't
moon.
natural.
That
The
might
moon.
be the dumbest thing I've ever said. I think it is. I definitely didn't think that one through. I shot that from the hip. The moon is. I have the world's second biggest light source, the moon. Oh man.
Oh god, that one's gonna
I'm
hurt.
glad that you said something and didn't just agree, because then we would have just been stupid. Because in my mind, I'd already moved past. I wasn't gonna call myself out for it. The moon. I was excited about saying the moon too. Dang.
Oh god.
Just-
I thought, you know what's funny is
Put years of suffering on myself.
you could have pulled it off. I thought you were just joking.
No, I
The way
wasn't.
you said it, you were like the moon.
The moon.
And I was like
It's bright.
yeah.
Lights up the night. You get the ISO. You can go high enough. Yeah. No.
So yeah, there's only a couple oh man, there's
I'm
only
ashamed.
a couple natural light sources out there. There's fire, there's the sun, and then like photoluminescence, the phosphorus. That's it. Lightning bugs, fireflies. Those are natural. I'll accept all those. But like street lamps, not natural. It's artificial light.
Yes.
It's all artificial.
But I'm
so-
saying like a bounce. The light still is coming from like a
I get it.
natural source.
I get it.
Well, that's what they get into.
Yeah. But it's an unnatural direction.
Yeah.
Sun doesn't come from the ground.
Well, and then they go in their photos and they dodge and burn the entire thing.
Exactly.
And it's not even like, it has nothing to do with the lighting that was on location. It's all Photoshop.
And there's a few
And then they're like, natural.
there's a few photographers that I followed their work, and it was like natural light, all natural, and here's the raw SOOC,
And it's a totally different photo.
and it's a different photo.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
garbage. I hate
great.
that.
I get it. I get.
They should have used
I'm
the
a
moon.
no, but yeah, I'm a final result kind of guy. I get whatever it takes to get the final result. I don't judge people for using Photoshop, but don't sit there and promote that it's a natural light photo, and you created
Like
this
it's
with
a-
natural light.
Like not even say that it's a natural light photo. Talk about it like it's some awesome thing. Well, you know it's natural light, so
Yeah,
awesome.
I did this with just natural light. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and the dodge and burn tool and, luminosity masks in Photoshop. That's what you
But
did.
anyway, yeah. Anyway, something else that we have to talk about. I know we just went on like a
We went on a
tangent.
natural
Went
light
on a
rant,
tear.
which will happen again and again and again.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about motivation and work.
Okay. Do we have to do that right now? Not really motivated to do that right now. I guess we should.
We can do it like a little. It's
Let's
not like
do
a
it.
whole big thing.
We should just do it.
I was just
Motivation is
thinking,
important.
like, what like motivates you to work?
Me personally,
Yeah.
like Rich.
Not like, and not some like, well, I'm a creative and it's in my mind and it has to get out.
One
I
day,
mean,
when I was a kid, I got bit by the creative bug.
exactly. That's not what I mean. I mean, when you wake up in the morning and you have to like do work because this job is not all, it's not fun. 90% of it's not fun. Like, as far as like you have to go drive and haul gear and
Yeah.
do sales, and I mean it's not all like fitness models climbing through the windows. It's not some glamour job.
Yeah.
What? How do you maintain the discipline to keep doing it?
I don't know. I mean, geez, there's the typical, I want to better myself.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up, I didn't grow up around arts. I grew up around arts through school. My parents weren't artists. They didn't like, hey, you got to be an artist. Like, here's some, promote it kind of that thing, or through that. I think what motivates me to be a photographer is that I enjoy seeing people's reactions when they see my photos. Like, I like that. I like doing that. I don't know. It's hard to explain because it's kind of like, what does purple sound like?
Well,
it's like one of those questions.
And when you try to describe that feeling, it's like I like the way it makes me feel.
Yeah.
When they like me.
Yeah,
it sounds lame.
No, but I mean, what keeps me motivated is, I guess I've always kind of been a hard worker.
Mm-hmm.
I always
why?
I don't know. I don't know why. I think it's because I don't know. I'd like to say, it's because of how I was raised. I was raised in a really bad situation, and it's my way of getting out of that.
Still climbing out.
I'm climbing the rungs. But here's the thing: is but that's the thing. That's the thing, though, is even if I don't even know what it means to make it. Like, what does that mean? Like, if someone's like, oh, how do you know? Like, oh, you've made it. It's like, have I? Because I don't feel like I have. And I don't think I'll ever feel that way. I don't think I'll ever be like, here, let's rest. Like, it's just not the way I think. I don't think it's always like next. Where are we going? What are we doing? How do we improve? How do we get better? I don't think that's teachable, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that I have it. I guess if there's anything I really feel blessed about, it's that I have that drive.
Yeah.
The downfall is that it's cost me a lot of things, like friendships in the past, because I've always been moving way too fast.
Yeah, but that's not. But those people are like. That's never bothered me.
No, not that I think it bothers people. It's just
you.
Yeah, I mean,
because I've done that. I've left people, in the dust, as they're naysaying.
Yeah.
And I look back 15 years later, and they're still whining.
Yeah.
And they've never moved on. I've never regretted saying, you're a boat anchor. I've done my best to try to motivate you to accomplish your goals or to help you with, creating your vision or trying to get you to help me or whatever you're trying to, or whatever you're working towards, and they just won't. I've never been like, man,
I feel bad.
I feel bad that I didn't let them hold me back.
No, and it's not so much that. No, I don't feel bad about it. It's just I don't know, man. I mean, like with the photography, I maybe it's that entrepreneurial spirit that people talk about. I don't know.
With me, The reason I was asking this question is because I love doing this stuff.
Yeah.
I love being there at shoots and working.
Yeah.
But I used to love everything else more than I do now.
Yeah.
Sales.
Yeah.
Any kind of sales I loved.
Yeah.
Now I still love to do pitches. I don't like anything else to do with sales.
Yeah.
People have annoyed me right into the ground. I'm so sick of it.
I think that's the constant challenge is like daily, I always joke about like going to my kids' first grade and talking about being a photographer on career day.
Yeah.
And I tell them like, don't do this, become a doctor.
Yeah.
Don't be a creative.
Yeah. Astrophysicist.
Yeah. I joke about not
do
letting
well.
my kids play with crayons. Like
Yeah.
I joke about that, but there's something to be said about that. I mean, I daily, every project I do, someone knows better than me. And
Yeah.
that's not exclusive to me. That's
And
part
like-
of being a designer or a creative in general is here's the thing is like everyone thinks they can do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But they think that the only thing stopping them is the knowledge of the equipment that you're using.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. And it comes down to a respect thing, right? Doctors are probably running into this a little bit more than they used to. And that's
Probably
why you
a
get
lot more.
probably a lot more with like WebMD.
Well, I read.
Well,
and
I
the
read
problem is, too,
online.
I imagine
Yeah.
people are right more than they like to admit.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe,
and
maybe.
that's got to annoy them even more. Like,
Yeah, but at least with that it's like a with medicine or something like that, it's like a technical.
Yes.
There is a way and there isn't a way to do it. With
Yeah.
creative, it's subjective. So we run into that weird kind of like, well, they're not wrong,
Well, yeah.
and they are because of this,
And then you have to tell them, yeah, I had that idea 10 years ago.
or 10 minutes ago.
And I've already moved so far past it. This is where you're going to end
Yeah.
up. Because everything you're talking about right now doesn't work. I've already done it.
Or when they
And
or
it's
when they
like-
come in an hour after you pitch them the design and they go, "What if you tried this?" and you're like, "Well, I did that and here's what this happened, here's what this happened." I find myself explaining my methods more than I should have
You do
to.
it more than I do.
Well, because you just
I
choose
I just
yeah,
don't engage.
just I'm not doing
That's
it.
what it is.
Yeah.
If you want me to change it, I will, but it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and then they go, and then magically, when I charge them to make unneeded changes, all of their requests go away. And like, and sometimes the client goes away too. But but like, if they're going to, and that's not necessarily a good thing. That's why we have Ashley now.
Yeah.
Because where I was going with this is, it's kind of like a 14-year, because since that's how long I've been doing this now, which
Yeah.
is just crazy. It's kind of like I've been like kind of reflecting on how I feel about things.
Yeah.
And something that's kind of spiraled out of control. Not spiraled out of control. That's not true. Something that I'm having a harder time managing is doing the things that I don't want to do
To get to the things that you want to.
instead of I'm having a hard time doing the things that I don't want to do instead of doing things that I want to do that aren't related to like work.
Okay.
Like I'm trying to think of an example. Or that's not necessarily true either. Or I won't do things that I don't want to do something that I do want to work on that is work, but this still suffers.
Yeah.
It's like a lack of discipline on my end.
Well, and I suffer from that too. I mean, and I just think it's in a different way. I mean, I find myself more motivated with recent shoots than I do with older shoots. Like if someone's like if a project drags on too long, it's like eating broccoli. And I love broccoli, by the way, but it's like if I'm over a project, it hurts to get back into that project.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if I'm just like, oh, I'm just not feeling this, and then I shoot something new, it's like I gotta retouch this. I gotta
Yeah.
get on this project. I gotta get motivated.
And
I gotta
still
get moving.
have that. It's not like
Yeah.
a total. It's not. I'm not like I don't know. I'm not describing like a full on, system failure.
Yeah.
I'm saying that like I still am motivated to do shoots. I still, I'm still super excited when we get what we want, when we get what we need, going back, editing it. It's me not looking at my email for 3 days because I don't want to read what people have to say. And instead, I play Xbox or work on storyboards.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to deal with it. And
I think that's an anxiety of and I agree. I get that way too, where it's like, oh God, I gotta check the email account. What are these people gonna say? But I don't think I think that's just a reflection of trying to deal with other people.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is like, I don't know. I seem to be having like a harder and harder time with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not motivated to do it.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And I'm trying to find a way around it.
Yeah.
Out of it. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. I guess I felt there's been hints of this before.
Yeah.
Little blips of me like not checking my email or not picking up a call when I don't know who it's from. But now, I mean, it's like I don't want to deal with this.
I think that might be because you're more of an optimist. No, a pessimist than me. I'm more optimistic. I think every phone call is an opportunity for a new client.
It's not new stuff. That's not what I'm afraid of.
But the new stuff suffers if you don't check.
I know, but I'm saying that
it just gets caught into it.
But me, the new stuff doesn't outweigh the horrid, nasty little demon email that's nestled in with the good stuff. It's
but
like, I think about it and seriously, like I see the emails that I get, and I don't even get them that often. I just we have a lot of clients, and always, let's say we have 10 projects going on at once, there's always some passive aggressive douche in the mix. Yeah. Every time. Ask any project manager, they'll tell you the same. It's impossible. Some people just like dealing with that.
Yeah.
And me, that 1 out of 10, if I have 10 emails and there's that one,
yeah,
I hate it.
Well, I
just want to like I look at it and I just want to smash my phone.
Well,
and not even work.
That's because I don't think you're made for that position.
But it's not even. I don't know. But the position is like it's not even that much to deal with, and I have to do it. This job, there is no cutting it out.
No, I think there would be. I think there would be.
If I'm like, if you're like, Steven Tyler or somebody, who's just like, is just rocking it. And I mean, we're getting there. Like we do, like we're, going up and up all the time. But I'm not at that level where I just, can ask my 2 assistants if I had any emails worth replying to today personally.
No, and I think that's the progress. That's the progression of what we're doing. So when we first started this, we were taking on projects that we wouldn't even look at today because it's not part of our process. There's clients now. Look at the clients we had 15 years ago. We wouldn't take them on today.
But we would. We did it way more back then.
I don't know
Weddings,
if we would. But that's what I'm saying.
Engagement shoots. We were doing all kinds of stuff.
But we
cut a lot out.
Yeah, why'd we cut them out? Because we grew our process and realized that certain clients cost us more money than they do make us.
But even then, I feel like when I was dealing with those people, I was like new mad. It didn't bother me as much. It was like, look at this. This is crazy. And it didn't really bother me yet. When even at its peak, I wasn't fully bothered. And then we cut it all out. And I feel like since we've cut out all that nonsense and it's still there, it bothers me more.
Well, it's there. I think it's there because
there on a lower level.
I think it's there on a lower level, but it's slowly. It's not the same problems though.
It's not.
It's newer problems. So what happens is we build process, and I think anyone who gets into photography or any type of creative field and thinks that that's what the job is, and that's all the job is, they're going to have like a rude awakening, because there's a majority of what we do is customer and client relationships. We deal with talent that's not used to being in front of our camera. We deal with clients that don't understand the process. They don't understand our process. And it's our job to figure out how to walk them through that. Now, the best thing that we've ever done was we hired someone who doesn't have a connection in the creativity and who isn't attached to it like we are. Because these are things that we're creating from a personal level. We're pulling this stuff from somewhere. It's not just a matter of using the software. It's not just a matter of clicking a button on a camera. When you have, you know what, like one of the most insulting things that people say to photographers is, wow, you have a really nice camera, right? That's insane to me. It's like, oh, thank you. I taught it everything it knows. Wow, right? But that's the understanding.
Nobody says that to like a pilot. You know,
you have a really nice plane. Like, you have a really nice scalpel, doctor.
That's a really nice, like, that's
torque
a really
wrench.
Nice HUD you got there. What do they call it? That's a really nice control system.
Yeah.
Man, must make it super easy to fly.
And that's what I'm saying. So we're in an industry, we're in a creative field. We deal with a lot of subjective perspectives. And I think our frustration comes and goes in different situations. And I think all that comes from us building a process. I mean, we've had clients recently where I knew just by the phone call. And 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have heard the tone.
I know.
And I would have taken the project.
You wouldn't have picked up on those danger
flags where it's like, you tell them something and they ignore it.
So I have to pay money up front?
I have to pay up front. Like, so.
And you can't get mad at it. You can't be like, yeah, what do you think? But you know the implication. They don't want to.
Yeah.
They want to be able to have you do 4 hours of work and then for them to just walk away clean. That's
Correct.
what it means. And there's a tone to it. There's also a way that they can say that legitimately they just didn't know. They didn't think about it. There's a tone.
But the point that I'm trying to make is that we recently took on one of those projects.
Yes.
Instantly regretted it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about that project was one of those fear. I don't want to open up my emails.
I know.
And it's our fault. It's our fault.
I know that, but
because we took the project and we knew it.
I'm not so much talking about. I don't know, man. I'm not so much talking about. Oh, I can't find a way to get around it. I don't think that we're ever. Dude, I'm telling you, never is it going to go away. It's not going to go away on any level. Look at $300 million movie sets. They're fighting, throwing each other off.
Yeah.
The sets.
Bruce
Unbelievable.
Bruce Willis is in asshole jail.
Emails. Like I can't. Like it never ends. There's nothing. There's no level in this profession, and probably any profession, where I don't have to deal with this. And
I think you just have to get to the point where you can just be an asshole and it doesn't matter. You're at the level. You're at like the Annie Leibovitz level. It doesn't matter. That lady could show up, and I don't think she does. I don't know her. She could probably just show up and be like, I'm not listening to this guy. Why is he complaining to me? Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
But and until you get to that point.
But I don't even like
and then who gets to that point?
That's not even like a point that I'm going to be at, though. Like I don't feel like ever. Like it doesn't have anything to do with me interacting. I'm talking more like just a personal motivation. I mean, I think about like what Werner Herzog said. Creating imagery is a meat grinder for souls.
Yeah.
He said, who was it that he was talking about? The guy that did it's DeMille. Cecil B. DeMille.
Okay.
Director.
I didn't watch the master
old
class.
School director. Old school director. Who made everything like Cleopatra. I mean, he made like if it was an epic film, which is like the proper use of the word. Yeah. Like this, he does epics. Like Werner Herzog said, he was the greatest filmmaker of decades. Yeah. Of 40 years, a 40-year run. He was it. The master. And he became a landscaper. Yeah. I'm done. Yeah. I hate this. Yeah. I hate everything about it. and he just got ground down into nothing. And I'm not going to be like that.
Yeah.
Since I'm aware that that's a thing, it's not going to happen to me. And I don't know. It's just more of sometimes, I see these dudes that are they're 60, getting up at 5 a.m. when they don't, on Saturday.
On a Monday. Whenever.
Yeah, they just get up. When they don't have something to do, they make something to do, and they still want to get out there, and they want to shake people's hands, open their email, send out triple the emails that they received.
Yeah.
And they're going. And so it's I can feel, and a lot of it has to do with discipline. And I know this.
Yeah.
And I feel that the older I get more discipline in one area and less in another. And I'm trying to inject a little bit of life into this other stuff because I can't survive without it. I know I can't. I can't just be I'm just going to be a douche and tell people to get off the set. I don't I have to figure out and it's a mental thing. It's a mental state. It's discipline.
Well, and I think as creatives, we go through that all the time with,
But a lot of people, I don't feel like they do.
I do constantly. I mean, I drive a lot, so a lot of my moments happen in the car while I'm driving, and I'm thinking about how the last shoot we did, I should have done this. I'll go. Yeah, I'll go. He'll keep calling.
Yeah.
He'll keep calling.
Keep calling me, and then I'll feel guilty.
Yeah. So I have a lot of those moments in my car when I'm driving. I think my thing is I try not to push that on other people. It's just my thing where it's and sometimes you can almost smell it on me where it's hey dude, what's up? You seem a little off today. And a lot of that comes from, I don't know, man. I look at where I've come from. I look at where I've come from. I look at what we've accomplished, and I look at what we've done, and it's not even the top. It's not even the top yet. But I always joke, I'm and not to make light of drug addiction, but I always joke that I'd rather be addicted to heroin than being a photographer and or a creative. And the reason why I say that is because heroin's obtainable. It's not always obtainable with creativity. It's not always obtainable with photography. I feel like a junkie sometimes where it's I need to create something. And then what I do is I start going online. I start inviting people to my studio. I get these people in here who aren't half as serious as I am, right? Or sometimes they are. Sometimes they show up
sometimes they're overly serious.
Sometimes they're overly serious.
Yeah.
I spend all this time, hours setting it up, and it produces nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's one of the few things that I've ever done in my life where you can work your ass off and wind up with crap.
Yes.
Right.
And that actually is, I don't know how I've been talking about this without bringing it up, is that now probably more than ever is the first time that I have felt overwhelmed when thinking about a project, like a film project.
Yeah.
I used to be what's the big deal? We'll hold a casting call. We got the cameras. Let's go out and find locations.
Action.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Now it's I think it's this. It's this mental thing. I want to make this short film. It's so much work.
I think it's like running. I think it's like running.
Yeah, and
if you run every day and then you stop running, the first day is easier. The second day is easier not to run. The third day is way easier. I think it's just that. I think it's just a matter of sucking it up and doing it. I mean, you got to force yourself to do it.
And I'm not even tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me what I need to do.
Give me the secret, Rich.
I'll find my way back. I'm just saying that I don't know. I'm just interested in. I'm not even okay. This isn't a work piece on me, or other people who are having trouble finding.
Tell
motivation.
me how you feel, Caleb.
Yeah. This is more of I'm just been interested lately in hearing what keeps everyone on the ball when they don't have to be.
Yeah.
And what I mean I don't have to be. Yeah. I could go work at McDonald's. I don't have to do this. You don't have to do any of this.
Yeah.
I don't have to think of a film project and go make it happen. I don't have to. I can sleep and just be a bum. I don't like need to do anything. Yep. So like I'm interested in, you know, I don't know, just generally. It doesn't mean I'm going to adopt those things.
No, but my thing is like, okay, so if that was the question, what could you see yourself doing if it wasn't for this? Like if that was the question, like I would say, like you said, I could do anything. I could go to McDonald's, right? But the thing is I can't see myself doing anything else. Legitimately can't.
I could see,
and I've thought about that. Like, how do I get out of this? How do I get away from this? What can I do where I can just go and do it from 9 to 5, wake up, cookie cutter, same route to work every day, and do it? And there's no answer for that. I don't have an answer for that. I can't think of a single thing that would get me out of bed in the morning to do. If my job was to flip burgers, I wouldn't be able to pull myself out of bed. Wouldn't be able to do it.
No, me neither.
I think what pulls me out of bed is the fact that I've finally found something that other people respond to positively. I don't know why, because it's completely made up.
Yeah.
I made all this up. But I see them respond to it, and it's something that people finally like. I'm good at it. Like, and I'm not trying to be arrogant by saying that, but I've seen people react to my work, and it's like I've never seen them react to anything else I've ever done in my life that way. You get what I mean?
They didn't seem to like my paintings.
They didn't like my paintings. They didn't like the way I ran track. Yeah. They didn't like my pole vaulting.
I've given them lots of gifts, and these are the only ones that were well received.
This is the only one that's stuck. So that's what keeps me motivated. And whether it's friends or family or whatever.
See, I don't know. That doesn't motivate me. I'm not really motivated by that. I'm more, I think that we make amazing work all the time that people blow off. I think our best work is blown off, and
that's the part that makes me depressed.
And that's where we differ. I don't get depressed by people not liking. It's like at all. I don't even get depressed. It's not like a thing. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, every once in a while, I just feel like I need to like hone my discipline in a little bit, and so it's just interesting to ask people, what keeps them disciplined when they could spin out of control and play Xbox all night.
I really don't think I'm that disciplined, though. I always think I could do
garbage.
More. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like regardless of what you think, like you are much more disciplined than most.
I understand that. I do acknowledge that, but I also
but most people are idiots.
Yeah, but I also
like, wow. You're comparing me to the lowest forms of life.
Yeah. But there's other people out there that are way more motivated than me.
You're right. I do more than nothing.
Yeah.
And I get that we are. That's the other frustrating thing to me is like people ask me, they talk to me like, I don't know, especially like family members. They talk to me. They tell me all these things I could be doing.
Yeah.
Why don't you do this? Well, why don't you do that? Well, why don't you, here's this plan I just came up for you to do. Man, I don't know. I haven't seen you do anything in the last week. It's like, let me just rattle off the list of things that I've done in the past 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, not right now, but I'm saying like I've done, 10 photo shoots, received an award, got published in 5 magazines, blah, blah, blah. Why am I being held to this weird standard of production?
Yeah.
Like, it's like I feel like people see me as like this assembly line that only needs to be cranking out more.
Yeah.
If you spend 3 days chilling at your house doing nothing, then that is what is taken into account, not what you did 2 weeks ago.
When you woke up at 4 to drive to Melbourne.
Did 3 shoots, gave, and just, I don't know, just, put up images that just kill.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't matter. And that to me, that doesn't like demotivate me. That's just, I guess I'm just talking about now, just what annoys me.
Yeah.
That's annoying. Me, I feel like if I do awesome stuff, go hard for a week, I feel like I get more done than people get done in a whole year sometimes. And then if I lay around for the next 3 weeks, which is not good, and I shouldn't do that. That's my personal discipline problem.
Think about how
I'm
much you can get
with.
done if you just kept going.
I just don't. Thank you. You're right. I haven't thought of that. But what I'm saying is like I'm down on myself about that enough. I don't like other people being down on me because then I get like defensive about it. Because then it's like, well, let's take a look at what you've done.
Yeah. Where's your list?
Where's your last anything that you've produced?
Yeah.
That bugs me. I mean, and it's always these people that come up with these ideas. You know what you should do? You should go down to the local pub and shoot them a video.
Yeah.
And then all the pubs will hire you to make videos. Let's do this. I'll be in on it too. And then you never hear from them again, and they've never made anything their entire life. And then they're asking me why I'm not doing things.
Well, and there's not a shortage of ideas, that's for sure. But I agree. I think I don't know. I mean, I think I'm a big believer in you don't have anyone to blame but yourself.
I agree. And Florida. I have Florida to blame.
And Florida.
Dude, I think that right there is 95% of my problem.
Yeah, and I think you just
place.
I hate it too, but I
can't find a way to get around it.
You can't get out of it faster if you skip 3 weeks of work.
It's not the people. I've learned it's not the people that I hate. I thought it was. Yeah. I mean, I still have jailers like keeping me here.
Yeah.
But it's the environment. I hate the heat. I hate the trees. I literally, dude, I wake up and I avoid looking out windows.
Yeah.
It reminds me of where I am.
Yeah.
I'll go straight to media all day long because I don't want to think about where I'm
Yeah.
going.
I agree.
I can't go outside. I mean, dude, like if I don't have to, I won't leave my
house.
I'm
working. I guess that's what motivates me is my mission is to change the environment.
It's just crippling. I don't want to get into why I hate.
This is a creative rant, Caleb.
Despise this place, but like that's a big problem. I feel like if I was, someplace that I didn't, hold a deep-seated hatred for, I'd be more excited. Like when we went to Scotland, it was like every day was like, there's so much to go out. It's like a whole new world.
Yeah.
Here, nope, no interest. Hey, do you want it? Nope, no interest. I have none. I'm going to sit here in the dark. I boarded all my windows, just so I don't have to do what you're saying.
Yeah. I think you just need to look at it. That's my motivation is to fix that. To fix your situation, man. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, just, I don't know. I mean, our biggest downfall. Yeah, I'll be out of here.
Fixing it is just me leaving. I have my responsibilities.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's a matter of it's and I've said this a million times. If we have a problem with our market and our if you have a problem, change it. Change your world.
I get that, but what I'm saying, I'm more saying that now more than ever, I realize that nobody ever told me about growing up. Nobody ever told me, hey, it's important where you live.
Yeah.
You're a mountain guy.
Well, everything
if you
growing
live
up
in
is
a gross
lie.
Swamp state that's flat, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
No one ever told me that. Nobody ever said.
That's not what location meant to you? Like, not as a kid.
I thought that was more like micro.
Yeah.
Like, within a city.
Next to a Target.
Like, yeah. You want to be here because that's like a bad block.
No, that's why
I didn't think it was like.
That's why there's 3 of them.
Well,
it's like the Google Zoom. Location.
And and I get people being like, I always understood, living in a place, you might, be more bored. You might be like, oh, you might miss something or you might prefer a place. I didn't get it. It's taken me a long time to realize that where you live can like crush everything.
Yeah.
To me, I know I don't think that you have it as bad as me or anybody does.
I just ignore it.
I can't.
I ignore it.
Like my wife will say, are you going to, hey, can you go outside and change the light bulb out there?
Yeah.
And I'll literally just like,
I'm gonna sweat.
Thinking of going outside, it makes me want to physically hurl.
Yeah.
And just like barf and just pass out in it, so I don't have to think about going outside and doing that. Like, it's so like, and when I go other places, I feel like I've been let out of like some sort of I've been let out of a prison back into nature again.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to. I know you can't think of it like that. You gotta find things that are fun. Have you ever gone kayaking?
Yeah.
You gotta, there's kayak culture here.
You ever been to Wekiva Island?
Yeah. Have you ever been? Yeah. That place is a lot of fun. And you'll have a hooting time.
When a gator bites your arm off.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
I know, and I'm not even really complaining. I'm just saying that, like,
yeah, but you are.
My takeaway. No, it's more like a takeaway. I guess where I'm at is like the takeaway that, something you need people up and coming photographers who are in college. Pick a good place.
Pick a good market.
Because I've been blindsided professionally.
Yeah.
By the place that the environment, nothing to do with people. The heat, grossness of this place.
But the thing is like
me.
Air travel is becoming so easy now. Traveling to these different locations. I mean, honestly, like the Spectacle, we both own Spectacle Photo, and our biggest downfall is people don't know who we are.
I know.
They don't know our work. They haven't seen our work, and it doesn't matter what the market is. We could be in New York in 4 hours.
I know.
4 hours. We could be in Seattle in 6.
Dude,
and it's
it's I get it.
You know.
Professionally, it doesn't matter. This is all I'm talking about. Personal problems here. This doesn't have anything to do with This doesn't have anything to do with ease of access. This doesn't have to do with
I just thought I'd hijack this
sales.
podcast.
This is about me.
Yeah.
This is about me right now, and I don't. I did not take into account how a natural setting was going to be completely debilitating to me, and that I'd have to find how to crawl my way out of that mentally. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just
pick
something.
a location and make sure that location is, because once you start setting roots, it's hard to leave. I mean, the main reason we haven't left
it's near impossible without being some sort of a monster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you have roots, when you start setting down roots, and your spouses have roots here, it makes it very hard to dig up those roots and move, and it's a lot. But I agree, but it's like everything they tell you as a kid. I mean, I have 3 kids, and I don't believe that we should have summer vacation, and my wife thinks that I'm horrible for that, because I think summer vacation is one of the biggest lies we tell kids.
Yes.
The moment you turn 18, summer vacation's gone. Where's my summer break?
Yeah, but the difference is everyone knows that's coming.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It hit me pretty hard.
I could see it in people's eyes, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on summer vacation? Better enjoy it.
Must be nice.
That ain't gonna last. You can see the deadness.
Yeah.
The dead,
soulless. I remember my last summer vacation.
Yeah. I remember it. It was good.
Yeah.
Just that look. But I was never told.
Can I get another one of them summer vacations?
Yeah, exactly.
You got any more of them summer breaks?
I feel like I was just never told.
Yeah.
I told everyone I was going to Florida. Nobody told me it was a godless swamp. No one said it was all yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, if you have anything to
do you have anything to add to that
conversation dealing with discipline struggles?
Yeah.
Let us know. So
anyway, cool.
That's all I've got for today.
Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks. Leave some comments below. Let us know what you think. Call us assholes. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do. Make yourself feel better at night. Let me hear about your natural light photography over and over again, and how you're good at it with your mirrorless camera.